Welcome to another episode of One on One with AV. I got a very special guest, the merciless Reece L. Black, episode 13. Do me a favor, guys. Make sure you guys like the video upon entry. Make sure you guys share the video. This is going to be another banger. Show's going to start in about 2 minutes. In the meantime, let's vibe out. Let's go. Welcome to another episode of One on One with AV. Man, I am honored and I feel very thankful and blessed to be on another one with the merciless Reece L. Black. I appreciate you for being here, man. It was an honor for me, for you to even take a chance on me, man. You invited me on your platform. We created a classic that fostered into a relationship where we continue to support each other, man. And I thought that I'm very happy to have you on board, man. So how you doing today?
Well, I'm doing all right. You know how I do, Bay, all day. Thank you for having me, brother. We day one supporters of each other, man. So we gotta
Facts.
swap. We gotta swap.
Facts, man. Bay Area stand up. You already know, man. So yo, let's dive right in, man, because it's important for us to talk about a lot of things. I love your content. I love the direction of your content, and you stand 10 toes down, man. You are basically one that's kind of going against the grain in terms of this space, but you're staying true to yourself. You're being authentic, and I think that's something that's lacking. So if you don't mind, Reece, do me a favor, man. Give me a brief as to who you are, your platform, and how'd you get involved into this space?
Oh man. Well, merciless resale black, of course. One half of the Carbon Ops Rawcast. Shout out to my co-host and my brother for life, Dickie Jones, and everything. And so we pretty much just jumped into space due to that podcast. But of course, when we were supposed to develop season two, unfortunate event happened. Back in summer of 2021, homie's house burned down and took all the studio equipment with it. So I decided we too hot. The content is too good. So why not continue the brand? So I decided to go ahead and take it upon myself. He, of course, executive produced some of the stuff too. So I just wanted to go ahead and keep that CO2 brand going. And pretty much what that is we don't bash on the women. Of course, we have ladies coming on the platform. And I love the company of women. I love talking to them. I love
Mm,
hearing what's on their mind. That's pretty much what my platform is about. So I don't have a reason to bash anybody. And plus, I have pretty much a lot of female subs. It's half and half, men and women, right?
right,
So,
right.
like when you said, I pretty much have my own lane. So, yes, I have to entertain them as well as the men. So, pretty much what the platform is about is just remaining loyal to the core values of just dating and relationships and keeping it real without
Mm,
the fighting and without the headbutt. And yeah, there are some disagreements, but at least I
sure.
keep it philosophical. And
Right.
so, what I like to do for when I post my solo videos, I pretty much just like to keep it on the dirt and keep it grounded, just to let fellas know from my experience what not to do. And I really can't tell them what to do. All I could do is just let them know this is what I've done, this is what I've experienced, and you could just follow suit. And ladies, I'm that guy who've done this, who've done that. So I try to be someone like a role model to some of them nephews, some of them cousins, some of those sons, and
Them
we really
young
don't have too much.
bloods.
Yeah, we don't have too much of that in the space. We're supposed to represent. We're OGs. We're supposed to be representing the good masculine man. And
Right.
so I stand on that. And like you said, everybody pretty much has their own lane, their own
True.
grind, their
True.
own way. And I have mine. Like I'm not
Right.
I was never the pump and dumper, so I'm not gonna talk about that.
Right. Right.
I'm the
Right.
married family man. I was the
Sure.
guy that I pumped, but I never dumped. I cuddled. And
Sure.
so I just like to give my experiences to the fellas out there and let the ladies know there's actually men out there like myself. And so
I
and
appreciate that, man.
and
Yeah.
of course the content changes depending on how I'm feeling, and
Sure.
this is a grind, so you got to keep your feet in the water and keep treading, just see how it goes and give the people what they want, and also keep comfortable with what you're doing within yourself.
Absolutely, man. That is shout out to Diggy, man. Shout out to Diggy, man. You know what I mean? Like I said, you guys have supported me, took a chance on a nobody. And it's a grind, like you said. But what I liked most importantly, I think it's a breath of fresh air, your approach. I always like what you and Diggy were doing. And I like the fact that as a man, you took the bull by its horn. You know what I mean? Something unfortunate happened, a setback, but sometimes you take a step back to take two forward. And to
Hmm.
not lose that momentum, you took it upon yourself to continue to keep the brand alive and stay true to the brand. You
Right.
mentioned you mentioned that you're in your own lane. You're not necessarily talking about shit that you don't know about. You're talking about shit that you do know about because there's a lot of men that have experienced things like that. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of guys are highlighting their wins as opposed to their losses. So your honest approach about the things that you know, the L's, some of the things that you've done, some of the things that may not have worked, I think is a lot more valuable to men because that's a little bit more relatable than to being on a boat, than to having 4 or 5 holes at a time. Because most dudes can't
Right.
do that shit. So I
Exactly.
really I really appreciate that, man. And like I said, man, it's authentic and refreshing, and that's why I'm glad that you're on the platform. So let me I got a couple of questions for you, man, because I think there's a lot of things that we need to do to connect the dots. So all right, so let me ask you this, man, from your take, from your experience, from the time that you've done content, does a man have to get it out of his system, right? His quote unquote system before he decides to commit to a woman. Now, I'm not necessarily saying marriage, but committing to a woman, monogamy, potentially going the next step. Can Does a man have to get it out of his system before he can commit to a woman?
Hmm.
What's
You
your
know what's
take on that?
funny? I would quickly be like, yes, he needs to, but I've learned being in this space. That's why I love this space, because when you talk to so many men and women, you learn things. And one of the things I've learned is like I had to get it out of my system personally. But shout out to the men who know how to pick right at an early age. Some men,
Mm,
some men actually can recognize their first choice under 30 and stick there, because that first choice, guess what? They looked at that man as their first choice too. So you could say it was meant to be. Shout out to Diggy. He been with his wife now for longer than everybody. I want to say
shout out to
20
Diggy.
years. Yeah,
Word, word.
he's never even looked in another woman's direction since he's
That's awesome.
met his current wife. And so, and yeah, like I said, that's under 30. He
Right.
never, and I tried to get him to get shit out of his system. I was like, come with
Sure.
me to South Beach. He's like, nope, stay away from that. So
Right, right, right.
some
Hey,
men, yeah, some men out there are laser focused. You can have tunnel vision on love too. Yeah, that's right. I said it. You can have tunnel vision on a woman. And I know there's some cats out there that's afraid to pretty much like go that route, because it's like you don't ever want to fall in love. Well, guess what? A lot of men did it. And a lot of men are still with that woman till this day, and they have a healthy, committed relationship, possibly going into marriage. That's what our grandparents used to do. So you don't necessarily have to, fuck the whole block, because guess what? You can keep doing that, and you'll never get it out of your system.
mm,
You become addicted. You have one chick, you want another chick. Now you want an Asian chick. Now you want a Latino chick. Now you want a threesome. Now you want an orgy. It keeps going and going and going and going to the point is like, guess what, nigga? You can't pair bond. So,
oh,
and
yo,
so, yeah,
hold
so real
up,
talk,
hold up.
yeah, it depends on the person. So it's a possibility. Like, yeah, you can literally like hold off, choose one, and keep focusing on that one, because you probably realize that woman is more valuable than just sex, period. And you're not trying to give that up because she's an asset to your life, some way, form, or fashion.
Man, that is awesome. You said some crazy shit, man. You said, nigga, now you can't pair bond. That is awesome. It's crazy, Reese, man. I don't think a man will ever quote unquote get it out of his system. I mean, I think,
Mhm.
you know, it's all about dick control. It's all about your priorities and it's all about your focus. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, men are always gonna have a wandering eye. And I know that you, even in the committed relationship, you could still appreciate a beautiful woman and all of that. But it's all about the priorities and the weighing the pros and the cons. Now, you said you had to get it out your system. So before you decided to commit, you probably were a wild boy doing your
Oh yeah.
thing, and
Mm.
you could probably attest and say that it was a lot of work, and it was
Oh,
fun. But did the fun outweigh the energy? You know what I mean? And all the shit that you had to put into that shit. And a lot of guys, Reese, don't have that. Have what you have. You know what I mean? They don't have the ability to juggle mad chicks and shit like that. So I like what you said, man. It's all about shout out to the guys that were able to identify the ones that were right for them. Shout out to Diggy for having a long-term relationship. But I don't think you're saying that it's an easy task, but the
mm-mm.
rewards definitely can outweigh the pros when you're doing things right and you're laser focused, correct?
That's right.
Okay. That's important because like I said, I know you probably get a lot of pushback. Oh, you talk about our grandparents and shit, times have changed, etc. Yeah, no doubt. But
Oh God.
at the end of the day, man, you gotta make that's why on my channel, bro, I always tell my guys, man, I said, listen, I'm not gonna hold it against you if you change your mind. One day you against marriage, the next day you telling me you getting married. Do you? I think a man has to have the opportunity to make a decision and change his mind as long as he knows what he's doing and is realistic about it. I know it takes a lot of work and shit, committed whether you're
I'm the
married or
poster
not.
boy of what you just said. I always said I would never get married. That was me. I always said I would never get married, and look, I am going on 9 years deep with
God
kids.
bless. God bless, man. That's what's up. Because like I said, it's important and it's like I said, man, I think it's very important that you taking this stance and you're not trying because I know there's a lot of dudes outside that are in committed relationships that are married and they saying that they're not. They're the exception to the rule. They're like, yeah, don't get married, but I'm married because I know how to handle my shit. But most of likely you're not gonna be able to handle your shit. And that's why these niggas get docs and shit. But I like the fact that you're adding to this space because there's a large sector of men who want to be in a relationship. They want to commit to it, but they just don't know how. They may be scared that their peers are going to clown them because they used to be red pill, they used to be in the manosphere. Now they can't say
Hmm.
how they're really feeling. You know what I mean? So, all right. So let me ask you this, bro. You said 9 years deep, committed relationships. You don't have a problem with women. Large sector of your subscribers are women. What's your
Yeah.
take on compromise? Compromise, and do you think it's a requirement for a successful long-term relationship? Now, before you answer, a lot of guys say, I ain't compromising, I'm alpha, it's gonna be my way or the highway, all that shit. What's your take on compromise, and do you think it's necessary to kind of balance things out in a long-term relationship?
The reason why I would say yes, a compromise is necessary because let's go ahead and take that example of the alpha. Now, most alphas are traditional and they would love to just have the homemaker, the housewife, right? So obviously, you must have ran into a woman who pretty much probably wants that lifestyle as well. So she's like, okay, Mr. Alpha, I would love to have your babies. I would love to cook, clean, make all your sandwiches and all this other shit.
Mm-hmm.
But are you going to provide that environment for me? Do you have enough money? Yeah, I said it. Do you have enough money to where I don't have to work, where my only job is to raise the babies and make sure that the house is great? Keeping the house cool, housekeeping, not no domesticated shit, making sure nothing bad comes in and nothing good lets out. I have no problem being a homemaker as long as you are pretty much taking care of all of this. So
Mm.
if I agree not to work, you must be agreeing to work and pay for everything. So you have your homemaker, you have your housewife. Me personally, I prefer the partnership. If anybody knows Cali, especially the Bay, we high as hell economically out here.
Yeah.
There's not too many dudes out there looking for a homemaker. They wanted a woman who got her own bag so they could both contribute to bills.
Boom.
So,
Boom.
and I grew up in a home where moms was married, working and married a working man. Same thing with our grandparents. Everybody worked. So the concept is still somewhat a little bit new about homemaking. Like I really don't hear too many people my age just talk about like, man, it would just be nice to just find a woman who just want to raise
Yeah,
babies
that's
and
some
just
YouTube shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like let's be practical, let's be
Right.
realistic. And guess what? I got a daughter. I'm not raising her to be a homemaker. I'm raising her pretty much to like be smart. Like you could go ahead and
Mm.
get it. You could go ahead and be a, get a career, but also be sexy, also be feminine, and
Sure.
also know how men think. Like I'm dad. I have to teach her that shit. She
Mhm.
can make a decision if she wants to basically be a homemaker or if she wants to be a career woman. But she
Sure.
also knows I better find a man who will be able to afford a homemaker. And a lot of these spaces, they really don't talk about that as much.
Mm. Man, that was awesome. Yes, you said something so important that I think a lot of guys tend to ignore. Sure, it'll be
Hmm.
awesome to have a homemaker, fix your sandwiches, have everything ready, answer the door in heels and fucking thong. But can you afford to provide that environment for her? A lot of you
Right.
guys make 35,000 a year. You mismanage your money, your credit's not on point. See, the thing is, the space, YouTube, Manosphere, Red Pill, whatever, they hide, they sensationalize entrepreneurism. They sensationalize content creation. How you can make this money off this crypto. Your shit is hard, man.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think it for me, quite frankly, for me, if I were to select a woman, I would want a woman with her own bag. And that would not make me feel less of a man because at the end of the day, my requirement would be 51-49, right? I always say 50. I'm 51, she's gonna be 49. I've been with women that made more money than me, but it really didn't matter to me because it was our money at the end of the day when we went that route. So I think it's important to educate women and empower women to get their bag. But
Hmm.
as long as they understand that, there may be some sacrifices involved and that might compromise some things that a man may require. But at the end of the day, man, I don't think it's right for men to try to say, listen, you shouldn't be going after your dreams and shit. Because what's the guarantee that we're gonna stay together? What's the guarantee that I'm not gonna get tired of your ass after I done
Hmm.
made you quit school, after I done made you quit your job? Now you gotta start over. So,
Yep.
you know what I mean? You gotta learn how to manage these broads, man, and you gotta learn how to manage women and manage people in general, manage yourself before you can demand a woman to leave the things that she went for before she met your ass and to try to rearrange her life when you're not even get your life together.
That's right.
You know what I mean? so
That's right.
so
Facts.
yeah, that's crazy. So like we talking about women, we're talking about women with their own bag. Talk to me in your view, right? I know you talk to a lot of men, you've done some content, you're in a successful relationship. What does the vetting process look like to you? And what are some of the things that men should look for while vetting a potential wife or a partner? I think that's important.
Oh, yeah. It's
Take it.
very, it's very important. One of the things that I suggest men really start doing is noticing what they watch. How does a woman entertain herself? If you meet up like a woman, and unfortunately, I'm speaking on the black side, not the
That's fine.
non-black
Let's
side.
go.
Yeah, so let's just
Let's
go
go.
there. If you're pretty much dating women who are watching reality shows, you already know what type of woman you're dealing with. Because when was the last reality show that you've seen that actually had a father figure in the show? And I'm not talking about everybody who a baby daddy on that reality show. No, I'm just talking about a legit role model father figure.
That's tough.
How often does this woman even mention their dad, or does she have a relationship with their dad, and what kind of relationship? Because you know the old proverb, the first man to break a woman's heart is her dad. And now
Hmm.
the thing is this, if she does not really have, a father figure, it doesn't even necessarily have to be her dad, but just a male role model that she looks up to, because guess what? If she actually has that, that dude right there probably gamed her up on how to respect men, not bow down to men, but just respect them for what they can do, how they can provide, the struggles that they have been with, the pain that they've seen, and also the power that they have when it comes to protecting a woman. How is she talking about men in conversations? Does she go against the grain nowadays, speaking like, you know what, not all men are like that?
Hmm.
Is the men that she have dated before, were they impactful on her positively? Did she break up with a good man and admitted it? Does she hold
Mm.
herself come and does she hold herself accountable for things? Does she show compassion? Does she apologize for shit? Like these are little itty bitty things that can actually like snowball into something bad.
Sure.
But yeah, when you're dating a woman like that, it's like, yeah, you need to check for these little signs. And also, how does she feel about you? Most One of the things I always used to get me, and I know like this is where Alfie will talk about finesse right here.
Right. Shout out to Alpha
And
Kingdom. Let's go, go.
yeah, shout out to my baby brother. Like he knows this. Some women will play to a man's emotion. See, you got the red pill shit, right?
Hmm.
But one of the holes in the whole red pill is they forget about the women who know men so well. They know which button to press to get whatever they want, right? So that's why I always said that the red pill is pretty much invented by women because we anybody who knows the game, they got gamed up by a woman. Pimps got gamed up by a woman, and women know which buttons to trigger to get what they want. If they know you love a passion, a compassion, they will always say, "Oh, I'm sorry, no, I'm sorry, Alpha. I shouldn't have done that. My bad, AV. Woo, woo, woo. You know what? Do you forgive me?" You're gonna be like, "Yeah, come on, girl. You gonna fall in love at that point because she's everything you want because she played right in it. She hit that button." But then there's some women out there who are just legit compassionate, legit feminine. These are the women that pretty much let you know, and this is how you know you got a good one. She always talks about the future, never about now. The ones that always talk about the past is kind of one of the ones you want
Mm.
to just, you know, I don't want to say stray away from, but just keep your alert on. Just keep that radar open. But the women that always talk about the future, they ready because the BS is in the past, and it's actually interesting that they're even ready to pursue a relationship, even with the BS in the past, even with the men that burnt them or broken their heart. If they are when they saw you and they sent something into you, they start talking about the future. They want you. That's a clear sign. I mean, that's my opinion, but that's actually something that a lot of men need to look for. See, dudes be scared, like, oh, she's talking about the future, and I'm not ready for that. Well, you need to get away from her and let her find the man that's ready for the future because now you're the type of guy that's going to hold her back, and that's what women damn near complain about. If
Mm.
most men actually be quiet and listen to women speak about that shit, they can let that shit register. But women who talk about the future, they are ready and they ain't about no games because they already been
Man, yo, you dropping some fire, bro. You
It's a
said,
fire show. Shit.
let's go, let's go. They not ready, bro. We about to break the internet. Yo, you said something so important, man, that I think it went over a lot of guys' heads. One of the biggest things that you said, that the big takeaway for me was paying attention to a woman who's always speaking about the future. Now, if the
Yes.
woman is speaking about the future and you are in the future, she sees a future in you. She can see a future with you. And, I
Hmm.
know a lot of guys can potentially get some cold feet and, kind of get scared. But at the end of the day, nobody's holding a gun to your head. You're supposed to
Nope.
use that to your advantage and say, okay, this woman actually sees a future in me. Now, let me see if I see a future with her. It's both sides. You know what I mean? You can't just be enamored and just get excited that a woman is feeling you and she wants to, to lock you down. You got to make sure that if indeed you want to be the same thing that she sees in you, can you feel a future in with her?
Hmm.
And I think a lot of guys overlook that. And what you said was awesome too about, men and this whole red pill shit could that was potentially invented by a woman. That's an interesting point because this content, the shit that niggas listen to, the shit that some of the things that we talk about, women have access to. And
Yes.
yeah, women don't have game, but they're smart. And they can hear the shit. They say, "Oh, that's what he's doing. That's why Reece didn't text me back. Oh, that's why AV didn't call me back because he's waiting because he heard somebody else say you got to wait 2 days before you text her back." Now, what you think she gonna do? You know what I mean? So
Yep.
this is when dating strategies and all that red pill strategies backfire on your ass, and then now you want to get
Mm-hmm.
mad at the broad. Now you want to go on a panel and insult a woman because of the fact that you didn't have awareness within yourself and you wanted to do
Hmm.
what somebody else told you as opposed to doing what you want to do.
Damn right.
You know what I mean? So wow, that was awesome. So let me ask you this, man. So now we kind of went over compromise. We kind of went over how to vet a woman. Now let's say we get to that point. We're looking at the girl wants to see me in her future. What do now? I think a lot of guys, Reese, are scared. They're
Hmm.
scared that when they get into this relationship, things are going to change, right? So should things change once you get into a committed relationship, like social media, girls' nights out, girls' trip? Because a lot of guys feel like a lot of men tend to lose themselves, right? So the thing that attracted the woman initially was the person that the man was. But once the man gets with the woman, he loses who he was, and now the woman is no longer attracted to the new guy that she's with. So should
Mm.
things change? How do you avoid losing yourself? And do things or should things change in a relationship when you get committed?
No, I mean, change is inevitable, but like you and EO and Lucario, like you all say, shout out to Ron Wills. If you were just your authentic self from the begin with, you won't have to change. See, what happens is we got way too many dudes acting like there's something they're not.
Mm,
So when
let's
they get the
go.
girl, what happens? They end up becoming insecure. Oh, because you were basically faking it the whole time. See, you were this big bad player and everything, and all of a sudden, it's one of her homegirls' birthdays. They want to go hit the club, and all of a sudden, you feeling a certain type of way. It's like, well, in the beginning, you was like, oh, I don't care, go do what you do, red pill. Yeah. But deep inside, she look good, and somebody with more game than you can come swoop up on your girl because you were fake from the beginning. See now, here's a little something for you and your viewers right here. What a lot of you guys don't know is this is actually exclusive for you, AV. I paid for my wife to go to Vegas for her bachelorette weekend with my sister-in-law. I paid for the hotel and their flights, and I said, "Have fun." We were getting married in about 2 to 3 weeks, something like that. And I was actually going to Vegas for my bachelorette, after that. But I felt so comfortable with my wife having fun in Vegas that didn't have to worry about some dude gaming her up because in my wife's mind, she's in love with me. I already I already got the imprint. And guess what? I love my wife. I wasn't doing that when I was in Vegas. It's like, dude, when you have a hold of her, if she don't want to go nowhere, she's not gonna go anywhere. I know a lot of dudes can't fathom that because like, no, 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 no. No, see, that's the problem with the whole red pill side of things. Have you noticed that dudes who are red pill can get game, but dudes with game never go red pill? You ever peep that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You ain't never heard of a pimp talking about like, man, I found this red pill. This is amazing. No, 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 no.
Listen,
Because they already pretty much knew if I want to keep a woman, let me get a hold of her mind, which means let me be attractive, let me be smooth, let me be respectful, let me know how to make love. Like she's the last woman on the planet. Like make love to her like I got 24 hours to live, and she's the last person I get to smash before I leave. A lot of these dudes don't do that. And a lot of these dudes, they really are not too confident in themselves to where they can have the girl go out. I know we have the whole thing about like I don't want to date a girl who's on social media. It's like, well, you should want to be the dude where the girl doesn't have to worry about anybody in her DMs because she's barely on social media because of you. She has to do that on her own. If you're telling her like I don't want to mess with a girl on social media, I mean that's your preference. That's fine.
sure.
But dude, how many times have you chose not to do something on your own because you liked a woman? Like if you were a chronic smoker and she was just coughing around you one day, you put the cigarette out. Next thing you know, you haven't smoked in a month because she didn't like it. She didn't tell you, but health wise, it wasn't good for her. Secondhand smoke. But for yourself, you're healthier now. You did that not only for yourself but also for her. And guess what?
Inadvertently.
She thinks you're more attractive now. We just have
Wow.
way too many dudes worried about what other men can do to your girl because you're whack. That's a you problem if you're worried about her at girls' night and social
Yeah.
media. Yeah, that's a personal insecurity problem. That's how you know your game is whack. So improve.
Man, you said a lot to unpack, bro. We need to back up a little bit. Shout out to Coach Yo, shout out to Lucario, shout out to all the dudes that encouragement to be yourself from the jump. You save a lot of
Yeah,
time and you don't have to worry about switching up on the broad. And
right.
shout out to you too, man. Like I said, man, you're paying for for wifey's bachelorette party and everything. You
Mhm.
sponsored that. That's the right thing to
Mhm.
do. You see, again, everybody's got their preference, bro. Everybody's got their
Right.
preference. You know what I mean? If you're honest and you're authentic with the broad and up front and you don't like social media, so be it. You don't like social media. But I don't think it's not a one size fits all, Reese. Like, you know what I mean? Like a lot
You're
of these
right.
dudes on YouTube saying that she can't be on social media, she can't do this, she can't go girls' night out. Now, for me in particular, I don't necessarily care if I'm with a woman. I don't care if she goes out occasionally with her broads. I don't care, you know what I mean, if she want to go like on a weekend trip. I don't necessarily care.
Hmm.
But for me, whenever I've been with a woman and shit, you know what I mean, she knows my stance and willingly she will kind of diminish or decrease the amount of times that she would do that, because out of respect for me. Like you said, we all grown. We can't force a woman to do shit. And you knuckleheads, she don't gotta go on girls' nights out. She ain't gotta go out in the country to go to have an affair. Fools. She could do that
Yeah.
shit at her with her work husband. She could do that shit when you out there grinding, doing your thing. She could do that shit at the gym. So a lot of guys are too busy focusing on what men are going to think of them, and they're too busy in focusing on what their wife or girl could be doing as opposed to focusing on what they should be doing as a man. At the end of the day,
Hmm.
you can't shackle anybody. You could love a woman, you could be the best person, and she could still leave your ass. A lot of guys are so afraid of a woman leaving them, they're not focused on the fact that you may actually get tired of the broad that you fell in love with. So at the end of the day, Reese, man, everything you're saying is facts, bro. It is a you problem. If you are one way and now you feel another type of way, you don't know how to manage it properly, that's a you problem. And I think a
Yep.
lot of guys gravitate, there's a lot more insecure men that can relate to somebody having a you problem as opposed to somebody running their relationship and not having to worry that their boys are gonna clown them. Yo, you let your girl go to Vegas, bro? Damn, dog. You doing nobody manages, nobody knows what goes on in the Reece Black household but the Reece Black family. So at the end of the day, it don't matter. As a man, you're not supposed to give a fuck what anybody says about you. You're not supposed to care about how any, because at the end of the day, man, it's all about your happiness and your peace, man. So I respect what you're saying, because it's up to the person or how they want to manage their relationship. But masculinity and this whole how you manage relationship is not a one size fits all. You guys have to figure out
Hmm.
what's best for you, and stand on that shit. Don't look at the subscribers. Don't look at your coach telling you to do one thing and shit, and it's not settling in your spirit. So I agree with you
Right.
1,000%, man. You got to do what's best for you, bro.
And before we move on, I gotta say this one thing before somebody jumps on it.
Let's go.
So Reese, how do you know that your fiance at the time didn't do anything in Vegas while she was out there? Answer is, I will never know. That's just how it is. So I'm not gonna sit here and
Boom.
be like, well, I know my wife, but all I know is we have respect for one another. And for you cats out there that actually always thinking that a woman's just gonna smash whoever, there's like so many undesirable men out there that some women don't even want nothing to do with them. Remember all the women that was rejecting you? Yeah, that's what all these girls go through. So you just think that one weekend she just ran into a diamond. But I just wanted to beat everybody to the punch before they be like, "Oh, this nigga basically cuckolded his wife in Vegas." Nah,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
gonna
Nah,
beat him
that
to the
was.
punch.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that, because you'll never know, and for you to break your head and try to, like I said, you can't focus on what they could potentially be doing, because whatever they could potentially be doing, Reese, we could potentially be doing ourselves.
That's right.
So at the end of the day, man, if you really about your shit, you got a family or you got a purpose or you trying to grind, build a legacy, man, you don't have to worry about the small stuff. That book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. There's a time and place to address shit. Let's not get it fucked up. But at the end
Hmm.
of the day, man, we can't focus on potentials and probabilities. You
That's
know what I
right.
mean? We got to focus on shit that's the facts. And then once with the facts, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. It is what it is.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Facts.
So let me ask you this, bro. So now we touching on the whole gamut of relationships. We were touching on everything. So there's a thing in the red pill in the manosphere called chore play. And basically, what chore play is basically it's you can see it a lot on TikTok too. It's the notion that women get turned on by men who do chores, do house chores. So, like, you'll see it on TikTok. Like, you'll see a guy, cleaning the dishes and shit in order to get a piece of ass, or like he's doing the laundry and shit like that. So, let me ask you this. What's your take on that? Do you think, and not necessarily in your household, but from what you've known and the content you've done, chore play, do you think that's a real thing? Do women get turned on by men being domesticated and doing chores around the house? Does that get a woman, hot and bothered?
I'm gonna tell you something. From my experience, I've noticed that women get turned on when you just do shit without being asked to do it. That's number one. But the whole chore play shit, if you a nasty ass person, that's probably why she do get turned on with you actually cleaning up shit, and that's just damn near sad. You a dirty motherfucker. Like,
Right, right, right.
like wow. Like for one, I wash dishes.
Okay.
If I don't like, if it starts getting too piled up and no one has gotten to it, I just take it upon myself to like just go ahead and clear and everything. That's my daughter's chore right now, right? But if it's just sitting there piling up, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take it upon myself to go ahead and knock it out, especially if I'm the only one home.
Sure.
Why? Because I like a clean kitchen. Who doesn't like a clean kitchen? Oh yeah. And don't get me wrong, there have been some times where, like I said, I'm married with kids, so the sex
Right,
life
right.
sex life can be down, and I have all this build up energy and
Sure.
everything. So I take it out on the kitchen floor. I'll take it out on vacuuming. Like I just like a clean house. And yeah, she will come home and like, oh shit, you mopped, you swept, you vacuum. Oh my
Well,
god, babe,
somebody's
I
got to do
love
it, babe.
you.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, because you didn't get a chance to get to it. See, and this is how I know a lot of cats out there are really unrealistic about the foundation of family. You don't get to do a lot of the little things that you normally do when you pretty much have other priorities. I have a living room that looks like a goddamn playground. We can't always pick up all these damn toys after this
Sure.
damn toddler.
Right,
This
right, right.
bed.
Yeah, because you just picked on it, that she puts them out again. Right, right,
Oh
right.
man, yeah, and then but when we can, or if we make the bed, like you get to it when you can. But now, just talking to the dudes out there who ain't got no kids, you just shacking with your girl or whatever. Now, you should take it upon yourself to just clean things just because you want them clean.
Sure.
Like some things just need to be sanitized. The counter, the bathroom. If anybody like living in like a nice clean household, you do these things. Now the chore play. I'm just now hearing this. I can't believe that sounds like a damn fetish. So you clean up some in order just to get some. That sounds shit. That sounds toxic. That's let's go ahead and talk about that shit for a
Yeah,
second.
yeah. Like,
So
yeah, you know,
you literally got to clean a toilet and then you get some. It's like you mean to tell me you're not getting none just because you're walking around with your shirt off, just because she misses
mm,
you, just because you smell good, just because she just finds you sexy, just because she just can't keep her hands off you.
see,
You literally have to clean a stove to get some. That's unfortunate.
that is unfortunate. Seeing what Reese said was extremely important. Probably you guys went over your head. Reese said, "So you mean to tell me you're not getting some because she misses you, because you have your shirt off, because you smell good?" This is all things that are revolved around him. It isn't. See, when you're a man, right? When you're a man and you remain authentic, you remain the same man, if not better version of the man she fell in love with, the man that she was attracted to. The house can be upside down. She's still gonna want you. Now, a part of being a
Yes.
man is having a clean home. You're gonna have respect, right? Like your car, the way you wear your clothes, the way your abode, etc. You want to make sure that it's in tip top shape. Now, if you have other responsibilities, you live a busy lifestyle, shit, it's not always gonna be clean. It may be messy, but at least you're clean. So at the end of the day, man, hygiene is an important thing, but it's all about the man. See, a lot of
Hmm.
guys can be broke, the Pookies and Ray Rays and shit. They ain't got shit. They live in a box and the broads are still turned on by them. But you guys have these big ass apartments and shit. But you're not focused on yourself. You're too busy focused on the apartment. And now the apartment's messy. She want to make you do shit because that's the only way she gonna get turned on. So you guys are focusing on the wrong things, man. Chore plays, it is an unfortunate thing, but it's all about the man. If you are authentic and you find somebody that likes you for you and you want to become better, man, it don't matter what you got, man. She gonna ride with you for a time and until you get your weight back up. So
And
that's yeah.
I just want to go ahead and add this. And plus, if you got to clean up some just to get some, I mean, your D game is lame. You don't hold it down in the bedroom. A woman should always want you because she knows you put it down. I,
Mm.
I just want to go ahead and throw that out there too.
That's nice. Disclaimer. Don't get it fucked up. Y'all niggas need to do your Kegels, get the L-arginine, do anything you gotta do, my niggas, to get your D game up. Because again, it's all about the man. A lot of you
Yeah,
guys are buying all this frivolous shit to compensate for your lack of work, your
learn how to
lack.
eat the box. Something.
Do something, yeah, whatever you gotta do, my G. Yeah, do whatever you gotta do. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So let me ask you this though. So I talked about this before. If a woman makes more money than a man, do you think they can have a healthy and functional relationship? And I'd like you to answer this on a broad scale, maybe some friends or something like that. Because in the space they talk about man got to make more money so she can provide, like you said, the environment to have to be the helpmate. Now, let's say the
Hmm.
woman makes more bread than the dude. Do you think? Why do you think men can't handle that?
Well, it's like we said in the beginning, because they wasn't true to themselves in the beginning. If you knew you weren't able to be comfortable and secure with a woman making more than you shouldn't have dated her in the first place. But to answer your question, oh yes, you can have a healthy relationship if her bag is bigger than yours. Why? Because sorry, ladies. Sorry, ladies. Most women who make a lot of money, they're not happy with their job or their career. But most men who make less than, we are happy about ours. Some women actually get very, very jealous of what we
Mm.
do. How many times have we came home happy and they are talking about what they couldn't stand about their job every damn day? You
What you
see the
happy for?
balance?
Why you happy for? What's wrong with you? You thinking you
Yeah.
doing shit? Yo, like I'm just chilling, ma. What's good with you?
Yeah, it's like the things that we choose to do for a living was nearly our first or second choice, but what they strive for, it stresses them out. And this is no offense to the ladies out there. I mean, there's some women out there that actually, like you said, they have their own businesses and they're making all that money. But the cost of it is sometimes they have to cut their social life, right? So when they end up getting a man that can actually like hang with them, tolerate their time. Say some of these men, like there's men out there who got women who make more than them. Some of these women stay late. Like if they have they're dating attorneys, they stay late and they work cases. That man, her boyfriend, shoot, may surprise her at the firm on a late night, with a box of Chinese ready to go, and they just eat there. He keeps her
Right,
company all night.
right,
It
right.
happens. So it's like, yeah, you can have a healthy relationship and everything. It's like there's no problem with that. I mean, funny thing is the woman still wants you to be a man. Like she doesn't need you to like, pay her car no nothing like that. She just wants you to be available, be emotionally available at the end of the day. Still hold her, still kiss her, still put it down. See, that's another thing too. If you guys are still worried about how much she making, y'all need to worry about if she's going to find somebody who makes less than you who puts it down, who got that game. That's where the problem lies.
Mr.
But
Goodbar, baby. Mr. Good.
yes.
Shout out to Ron Well, Mr.
Shout out to
Goodbar.
Ron. Yeah,
Shout out to
shout out to
Uncle
brother
Ron,
Ron.
Big Ron. Yeah,
Yes.
man, you said a lot, man. Which is a lot. These niggas again, man. This is. I'm so glad that we're doing this, man, because you're really providing some real shit that a lot of
Yeah,
guys
man.
are afraid to talk about. A lot of guys don't think it exists. Now, again, it's not the same. If you find a good woman, man, don't block your blessings, man. Try to hold on to the broad. Not like she's the last good woman on earth, but if you got a good woman, try to make it work. You know what I mean? Focus on
Yeah.
yourself, and so you can maintain something because a lot of these broads ain't shit outside. But
Hmm.
but at the end of the day, you know, like you said, man, a lot of women are always striving to do something, but it's costing them something else. And a lot of men, we tend to, and again, this is why men age better than women because a lot of times the women put a lot of abuse on their body and shit because of birth and all that shit. But a lot of these career women, they look old, man, and a lot of men are aging gracefully. Now, it doesn't mean that we work less. It doesn't mean that we want more. It's just that we put peace over pussy any day, and I think that's something that's very important as a man. You know what I mean? Like I always talk to guys, like if you want to be in a relationship, for me, it's always peace over pussy. What does that mean? That basically means that I'm not with the dumb shit. I'm not gonna argue. I'm not gonna ignore your feelings. I'm not gonna disrespect you. But I like a peaceful household. You know what I'm saying? I'm not with that silly shit because for me, peace is everything. And that's when a man has his peace of mind, he can go after a bigger bag. He can go after something that's gonna give you a better life. So
Hmm.
career women, man, don't be afraid of a career woman. At the end of the day, like Reece said, they want a man at the end of the day. So if you're a man and you got a career woman, a woman wants to feel like you her rock. And
Yeah.
when she's dealing with all the bullshit at the boardroom, man, she don't want to deal with that shit. She want to know that you got her back, put it down, and you figure out what y'all gonna do with all that money she making. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So
Yeah, and I want to say this before we continue because I know there's that, I'm a PhD narrative. Like you just to stay away from the career woman, stay away from the PhD. If you have a business of your own, right? And she has a mind in an area that she has an expertise in, like marketing or something like that. Why wouldn't you want to date her? You have a business. If you're garbage with numbers and she has a degree in accounting, or your business is not out there being seen, but she might have a specialty in marketing.
right.
Why wouldn't you date her? I mean, why or just like consider it? Just
Collaborate
because
with her, something. Yeah,
Yes, like that's an asset. She
for
has
sure.
value. I know everybody is pretty. I mean, right now the career woman is stereotyped as somebody who's pretty much just has a strong personality. It's like, well, what do you expect? You know, they're in a male-dominated
She
environment, so
needed that to get there, right?
yeah, they have to keep up. So you have to give them the benefit of the doubt. There's a bunch of sexy career women out there, who are just
Facts.
looking for, man, they're just looking for that right man that not only will just understand them, but also might be able to guide them to learn how to play ball. And next thing you know, she gets a little softer. She keeps being hard at work, but then she's soft around you. And it does kind of suck now that a lot of dudes are just shying away from the woman with the PhD or just the woman educated. We got the narrative, well, we don't care about a woman's, college degree and her education, which is true to some extent. But you don't want to be with no dumbass broad because what has now been happening?
Gee.
All these dudes are now complaining about dumbass chicks. But it's funny because these dumbass chicks be finessing the hell out of y'all. So who's the dumbass now?
Boom.
Shit. Look, these dumbass girls got y'all calling up on platforms looking stupid and talking. Look, all right, we're going in a whole nother direction. I don't want to
Whoa,
piss
whoa,
anybody off. But
whoa.
yeah, these dumbass broads are smarter than you think.
Yo, listen, it's a raw clusive. Don't get it fucked up. You don't
Thank
play
you,
a
bro.
raw clusive. Don't get it fucked up. Yo, we ain't lose. He ain't lose a step. I mean, he made his decisions, but don't get it fucked up. Bay in the building. Yo. So let's switch gears a little bit since you hot right now. What's your take? You know what I mean? Without naming no names and shit like that. But what's your take on the current state of the manosphere and the red pill community, man? Because like I said, man, I'm new to this shit. And when I first discovered this space, man, I was really enthusiastic, man. I was like, wow, this is an awesome space. And I still think there's a lot of value in there. But in the year and a half that I've been participating in, there's been so many changes and a lot of
Oh yeah.
infighting. And I think it's distracting the men and the true essence of what this space could and should be. So what's your take on the manosphere and the red pill?
Oh, first of all, I want to give a shout out to you because I saw your latest clip you did regarding how the space itself is now becoming oversaturated. Not because I totally agree with you. You got coaches against coaches, and like authors against authors. Like people, we should have been came together. But I got to shout out to Dominic Sharp because he said this like 2 to 3 years ago. He predicted that the manosphere was going to implode because we have too many heads. It's like you have all these dealers, but about four corners. And the problem is, not only is it oversaturated, everything has almost been said and done under the sun, right? So when you have all these coaches, they don't want to collab. And shout out to, Macario Miles, EO, 50,
Steve the
Miles,
Dean,
Steve the Dean,
Dragon,
Real
real
Game,
game, no
Ricardo
theory.
No
Yeah,
Theory.
yeah.
You see how they all came together like the Justice League, like the Avengers.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why the theme is like that, like the Avengers theme.
Right.
It's because it was shaky at first. I know it was shaky between Steve and EO, but look,
Sure.
they gutted that shit out and moved on, right? Because they know, because they pretty much are stronger together than they all apart. They came together and started the show, and that's true manosphere. We gonna all come together. We all got our different, philosophies, but
Different styles.
we all have one goal:
Right.
self improvement for these lanes.
Right.
That's
Right.
it.
Yeah.
No egos. We check the ego at the door, and
Gotta
that's
tell
what's
you.
happened in the manosphere.
Mhm.
You have way too many egos. Donovan versus, Dream. It's
21.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
It's
it's like
nuts,
look
man.
at what happened, and that was sad. And even
Yeah.
Donovan, he admits that it was jacked up even between him and O'Shea. Then you have the manosphere, then you have the black manosphere. It's hella infighting in the black
Yeah. Now it's
manosphere.
a black Negro. Man. Yeah. It's crazy, Reece, man. Yeah, man. I appreciate the shout out, man. And yeah, shout out to everybody. And, like I said, man, it's hard to have all these alpha dudes in one building, man. I get that. You know what I mean? Niggas have
Right.
egos and shit. I get that, B. And for me, I have my own ego and shit, but I know how I respect myself, and I always respect the man that ain't disrespecting me. So like, if I got an ego and I know someone else got another ego, I'm just gonna fall back a little bit, like gracefully, because I don't want to pop no shit off.
That's
And
right.
you know what I mean? Because it's like it's pointless to me, bro. And like, all the beef and shit like that. I always said it on my channel. I'm not participating in no beef, my G.
That's right.
Because not because I'm pussy or because I'm scared. It's because what's the fucking point? I'm gonna say this, you're gonna say that, you're gonna say it don't matter. And what you said was very true. You said everything that was said in these spaces has been said under the sun. There's nothing new. The delivery could be original. Your cameras, your angles, all your shit can be original, fine. But at the end of the day,
Hmm.
we all pretty much kind of heard the same shit. So now it gets very competitive.
Yep.
And as opposed to being creative, a lot of guys just want to bite and copy off of each other. So
And
I
that's
like
the problem.
that's the problem. And so I'm hoping that your channel and your delivery will continue to be authentic and continue to talk about things that you know. And
Yep.
I'm excited to see your evolution because a lot of the things, even though there are things that people should know, they don't talk about enough, man. And I'm looking forward to your channel and your platform growing because we need a little bit more than that. Because now you got guys that used to tell you to pump and dump. Now they talking about how they've grown and shit. Now you got to settle down. So now,
Yes.
I mean, we got
Some
your
cats
money.
even found Jesus.
Yeah, we got your
Bruce Lee.
money. Yeah, we
Uh-huh.
got your money. We got all your shit. You bought all my courses. Now buy my new courses of shit. I'm like, dude, come on, my nigga. So
Uh,
we got to keep grinding, Reese, because like I said, we flawed, we men. I'm gonna make mistakes. I make mistakes. I still paying for mistakes I made, but at the end of the day, my the direction of my channels, man, is to basically turn males to men, and not all males are men. And I think being a man can be a lot of things depending on what you want it to be, as long as you're making the right decision and the best decision for you. So
Bro, I gotta add this because that was the point I was getting to, and this is why, the Manosphere is basically kind of became like a joke. It's because a lot of the cats in the Manosphere are fake, and they were fake from the beginning. You don't have that much infighting with a bunch of alphas. You don't. You have an alpha fighting with somebody fake. That's pretty much all it is. Like you had a bunch of cats out there who got caught up in their feelings. If you are alpha, then you pretty much know how valuable teamwork is. Yeah,
agree.
a alpha can, lead, but an alpha can also step aside and
Boom.
recognize somebody's potential. Like, you know what?
OG.
You're good over here. Like, look at what I've done so far. Anybody knows me personally. I handpick certain individuals to collab with, and then I have a certain tailored topic for that individual, right? Because I believe that they have the potential to answer this in a way that I can understand and the viewers can understand it as well. I'm not a know-it-all. See, and that was the problem in the Manosphere. You had too many folks swagger jacking. So I'm like, look, I'm not Rom. I'm not Lucario.
Right, right.
I'm not Kev Hick. I'm not none of these cats. So how about I create something, create a platform where I can have these
Yeah.
guys come on, so I can ask them these questions, and they could give their expert
Expertise. Right.
philosophical answer. And the thing is, and I always said this too, there's no right or wrong answer when it comes to the space. This comes to the space. It's about sparking the discussion. But the problem is too many cats. You said this to yourself. You said this yourself in that clip. Too many cats are trying to be right. You had too many people. Like for instance, you had people damn near trying to argue that being red pill and having game is the same, and it's clearly not. Because if that was the case, I said this on my own platform, Good Bar Boulevard, shameless plug with Lucario Rom. I
Let's
asked,
go.
how is it all the red pill channels are astronomical in bodies, but all the channels that people got game and self improvement, the numbers are
Mm,
lower. You have cats like, and I'm not taking jabs at anybody, but you got
sure.
cats who are red pill who are 100 thou, 200 long
Plus.
on the bodies. And then you have cats who teach game who haven't even hit the 100 thou mark, but
And
yet
and they've been in the game for a long time. I know.
long time, more
Damn.
wisdomatic and everything. And like
Sure.
like Rom already answered that question, and so did Carl. It's because with game, you actually have to work. It's self improvement. Red pill, all you got to do is complain. I don't need to make a jab, but
I
it
hear
seems
you.
like cats would rather complain than work. So of course the numbers are going to be lower for the cats that actually want to work and self improve compared to the cats that just want to complain about chicks all damn day.
Let's go. You want to complain and stay the same. Man,
Hmm.
that is awesome. Shout out to Rom, shout out to Mr. Lucario, Mr. Goodbar. Remember, guys, make sure you guys follow Good Evening Mr. Black on Instagram. Make sure you guys subscribe to his YouTube channel. All his handles are gonna be in the description of the video. Don't get it twisted. Man, that's crazy. I got one more question for you, Reese, before we get out of here.
For
Let me
sure, for
see.
sure.
I'm gonna ask you one. Hold up, B. Let me see. All
Take
right,
your
this is a
time. Take
good
your
one.
time.
I bet. This is a good one. So why is it important, bro? Like with dudes in relationships, or I mean, why is it important to keep your business off the streets? Now, let me give you some context. Like if you're in a relationship or let's say you vetting abroad, or you guys are getting there, you guys are going to that point where you're going to be monogamous and it's getting more serious. What's your take on talking to your business, telling your people your business, your family members your business, telling your friends your business? Why do you think it's important, or is it important to keep your business off the streets, bro, in your relationship?
I'm going to go ahead and be honest. Telling your business to everybody, it's feminine. It's like gossiping. And honestly, look at let's revisit Kanye and his issue with Kim. He posts his business all day on the gram. It's like he's tattling on Kim. You're a grown man. This is the same woman that wrote a check for multi-millions to get you out of debt, and now the same woman that divorced you. And now you're on the gram and social media talking about the issue with the kids and all this other stuff. And we can go ahead and use the mental health card. Yeah, he has some issues since his
Sure,
mom passed. I get that.
sure.
But your day one should have checked Jazz. And honestly, I'm a guilty of that myself. There's been times where me and Babe will get into it, and yeah, I'll jump on the phone and I'll be like, "Blah, this, blah, blah." It's feminine. I shouldn't have went there. I should have just been like, I will talk to you when I'm ready, or we can talk when it's time, or whatever. You just keep it in the house because
Sure,
when your stuff is in the street, people can use that against you. Just think, Kanye. I hate to use Kanye as an example, but he's
okay,
the most amplified.
sure,
Kanye is over here talking about everything that's going on in his personal life with an album out. And cats like us, we're kind of cool on it. It's like you're not a role model for like what men should do. So the non-black folks, they'll go grab his album because they don't care. We look at people when they look at the music, which is unfortunate because we should be the same way. But
right,
when we look at people tattletelling and shit, having YouTube beefs and all that stuff. It's like no, you keep that personal. And
sure,
shout out to Donovan Sharp because he made damn sure that everybody squashed their beef off camera. Like
right,
stop taking these little indirect jabs on
yeah,
YouTube. No, that's
it's
dude.
corny.
We're not supposed to do that. I mean, we can talk about like obviously when you dropped your short, you were just making the point of how
Sure,
disappointing a situation was.
yeah,
That's all it is. You were just expressing your disappointment.
yeah,
That
right,
was it. That's fine. You can do that because that's content. That is
sure,
something that everybody should learn. Like that is just straight content. Like, yo,
right,
folks, folks are petty. Folks are
yeah,
fake.
yeah,
And that was my bad for not catching the signs of it. But you had trust in somebody. Not saying
sure.
that you're not going to trust anybody later on down the road. You're just going to now learn to be on alert
A little bit more cautious,
vet better, even when it
right?
comes to business. That's all it is. It was
Sure,
a lesson learned. That's all it
absolutely,
was. Yeah, but
absolutely,
you shouldn't
brilliant,
have your business in the street. You shouldn't like whatever drama, whatever. Nah, keep it in house and keep your circle very very small and keep it trustworthy. That's why I say rock with your day ones that you feel good. And I understand that a lot of cats want to come. They want to you know collab with new people and smaller cats too because everybody's trying to get on.
sure,
But you gotta look. I say this: look at their delivery, look at their content. What are they doing? So of course, people will look at me and they're down to collab with me because they see what I do. They see the editing, they see the music, they see the candy, they see
sure.
the blood, sweat,
Quality,
and tears that
production
I've. Yeah,
value,
they put it. Yeah, they see all of that into my content. Like, okay, Reese ain't playing. He's here on some professional shit. It's
yeah,
like, yeah, but I want to look good, and I make damn sure I make you look good too because you're
agreed,
working with me.
agreed,
That's how
agreed.
it's supposed to be.
Man, yeah, you see, this is what I'm talking about, man. You know what I mean? And that's why, like I said, man, I appreciate you coming on, man, because I talked about this with the Afi Kingdom podcast. Shout out to him. And I told him, you know what I mean? I said, yo, you took a chance on me, bro, and you bet on me, and it turned out to be a good bet. You can't be afraid of talent. You can't be afraid of talent. And if a lot of dudes are in position and they're not putting you in position, that means that they're not necessarily rocking with you. And it was a lesson learned for me too. And that goes for everything. So when you said vetting for business, it takes time to vet people, it takes time to learn things, but at the end of the
Right.
day, man, as a man, you got to take these lessons, these quote unquote losses, and turn them into lessons and do you and stay on your grind. Because you know you're gonna be the last man standing. You're gonna be the last man standing, and keeping your business off the streets is very important. And I like what you said. you know, tattling, being feminine, sharing
Yeah,
shit. Even if see a lot of these niggas think they talking cryptically, they talking in secrets and shit, but everybody know what they talking about. So I'm like, dude, why would you do that? Or like, what's the point in doing that? There's a lot of guys that have been in this shit for a long time and they acting like children. And I'm the rookie, I'm the freshman looking at the guys that I admired, and they losing cool points with me because they're conducting themselves in a way where they shouldn't have to. Yeah, they ain't got the subs, they ain't got all that shit, but you guys are better than that. This is my opinion.
yeah,
Now, you said to keep your circle tight. Now, for me, I think that, sometimes if you have a spouse or if you have a personal issue, you may not be able to resolve it with that person right away. So I always encourage men to either have therapy. I went to therapy. You either have a therapist or you have a solid core, one or two dudes that you could confide in, because you're always going to need a different perspective. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
that's as far as it goes. You see, I always say if you got more friends than you have on fingers on one hand, then you got too many. So if I
Mm,
have an issue, with my content or my personal life and shit, I always confide in either myself, or I don't go to therapy anymore, or I go to my boys and shit and I talk to them about it. And they're my boys and I confide in them because they're going to allow me to think for myself. And I always say to guys, the guys with best game is always going to tell you to ask you a question back with a question. So if you ask me a question, Reese, I'm always going to ask you, well, what do you think? Because guys who want to be better, who want you to be better, always going to make you come up with the answer yourself. We're not going to give you the answer. So if I fuck up and they tell me, yo, AV, well, what do you think this happened? I'm going to repeat the answer and I'm going to answer the question. So
hmm
at the end of the day, man, you guys got to keep your business off the street, man, and know that you got to remind yourselves, why are you doing this? Who's listening to you? What responsibilities do you have? Yes, your channel, but you may be touching people's lives, man, that you don't even know. And at the end of the day, if we're not being the proof and the men that we are trying to advise these guys to be, your credibility becomes shot, man. So
No, that's true. At the end of the day, we're all influencers. The moment you hit record, stop, and then
facts.
upload, the moment you hit upload, you want people to listen to you. See, even I
Fact.
know I have to be careful, but just to give
Sure.
you a little secret, I lose a sub every episode I upload, and I haven't even figured out why. I just like
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
I just keep
Yeah,
going.
me too. Me too. Yeah, but you know what, Reese? That's a good point. Now because you and I are rookies. You
I'm
know,
just being honest.
no, yeah, every day, man. But I stop. It's like losing weight. Like you stop looking at the scale. You just keep working out, and then one day your pants fit different or your shirt fits different. At the end of the day,
Right.
man, if you put up something that they didn't like and they leave your channel, we don't want you anywhere, because a real man can take feedback and different opinions about different things to make you better. You can't sit in a room that everybody agrees with you, because if you're the smartest one in the room, you ain't never gonna grow. You got to learn
Yeah.
something every day, and a woman doesn't want to equal; she wants a teacher. So you guys,
Mhm.
when Reese puts something up that you don't agree with and you don't want to sub to him, and we don't want you anyway. When you guys ready to grow up, y'all subscribe back to the channel and y'all can level up. You know what I mean? So
Thanks.
yo, Reese, we about to be up out of here, man. Do me a favor, let everybody know where they can find you, all your social media handles, and what's up next for the Carbon Ops broadcast.
Well, for Carbon Ops Rawcast, that's pretty much still indefinite. But yeah, season two is going to come. When Diggy pretty much gets everything comfortable together. But as far as my platform, you guys can sub to me, my channel, Merciless Reese L Black. One of the things I expect for my platform is to blow up because I'm pretty much like a talk show host for the game. Yes, I do have solo videos where I pretty much like to drop a little dime in a gym here and there, but mainly I like to give you people just pure entertainment when it comes to the game. So I just want to go ahead and take the time to go ahead and shout out, to all the participants of Good Bar Boulevard, especially Ron Wills, because it was inspired off him. Mr. Lucario, Kev Hick, and also Weave told me, Yancy, because I created another special called the Iron Fire Avenue for the ladies. All I plan to do is just to keep giving everybody the best quality content about game, about life, about swag as long as I can. And I hope that I will hit 1,000 subs so I can get monetized. That way I can stop cussing. And we're gonna be doing bigger and better, better things. Check out the special I did in Hollywood. It was in Live in Studios. Shout out to Hollywood Unlocked. And I want to do more collabs in big studios just like that in LA because that's where it's at. I'm about just giving you guys great quality content. I'm pretty much just a talk show host with that game, and I just want to go ahead and make sure all of you guys are swagged up. Yes, I'm new to the space. I'm the guy next door. I'm a breath of fresh air. I'm going to keep it that way, and I want to see everybody else, just a small grow too. So much power and much hustle and much grind to everybody, man.
Absolutely, man. Man, like I said, man, whatever you need from me, bro, you have my support, man. Like I said, you are a breath of fresh air. You standing 10 toes down. You carrying the
Hmm.
torch. You going into your own lane, man. And make sure you guys subscribe to his channel. All the social media handles and all his channels going to be in the description of the video, man. I appreciate you for being here. Thank you for joining us on another episode of 101 with AV. I'll see you guys next time. Keep grinding. Peace.
Good evening, Mr. Black.
Let's go.